Alright, what's up guys? This is Lane again. I am back today with another tutorial. Today we're going to go over the 3 most common ways to create an account, create an Ethereum account. If you're like me, and when you go on Google to try to understand Ethereum and this aspect of it, you see a bunch of guides, but this sort of not the full picture, and you have to piece it together. I want to create these these short videos to cover, as I would say, what you would need to know. Basically, it's like you watch this and you can just trust that this is, for the most part, accurate, and for the most part, the summary of the information, 80 to 90% of the information that you'll ever need in this domain, which is to create an account. So I hope that fills that need. Let me know otherwise. I'm gonna just jump in. This should take pretty quick. So this one, quickest and arguably the least secure. This is on my Ether wallet. The reason I say that is because this is a website that's hosted on someone's computer, and I know that a lot of people trust them. But if you don't come from a technical background, you basically know that any sort of whatever input you give them, it's possible to just the moment you on key press, that will be saved and sent to the server and sent to a database where they basically have everything they need to know to take that account from you, or at least get the funds out to their own. So this backup file, I would recommend always saving that. You're just going through the standard process. Say understand, continue. So this, some people save it on the desktop. Some people save it in a note-taking app with 2-factor authentication. That way they have access to their account no matter where they are. I personally do that, but I keep the funds on those accounts limited to some small amount. So even if someone hacks my note-taking app, it's all good. So then you do save your address. Make sure this is copied, because they don't give you this anymore if you go back. If you go back, it's not there, right? So you're like, oh crap, I forgot. Well, too bad. Now you gotta restart that whole process, but we don't have to, because I had it copied to my clipboard. So you hit unlock. Okay, so there's an account. So let me just do that one more time again, because I probably skipped a step there in the middle. So I'm not gonna go over this part. It's enter in something that you would typically use, download, understand, save this, or at least copy it, hit save your address. Now to unlock your address, right? So they gave you the private key using purely client-side logic. So only your computer knows about it if we can fully trust this web server. Just hit unlock, and there you have it. You have this. You have a QR code, and it shows you information about it, and you can track your account on Etherscan. So then, just to sort of prove to you guys, what I typically do is I'm just going to import this on MetaMask. Cool. So I'm going to copy this. You can see that it's the same. Okay, so I'm done with step 1. That's the My Ether Wallet method. Close that out. Okay, step 2. Programmatically and most useful for mischief. Okay, so this one's good. This one uses the Web3 version 1.0.0 API. If you follow my previous guides, you'll know that most of my tutorials are done with Web3 0.20.0, not the beta. So this is a more advanced Web3, and they're still testing it fully, but I'm pretty sure the accounts part works flawlessly. Okay, cool. Go to a empty folder. I'm assuming you're just coming from, I don't know, Noobville. So go to do npm init. Make sure you have Node version 8.5.0 installed. Yeah, just blow through that. Yes. Okay. npm install web3 at 1.0.0 beta -- save. So while we're waiting for that, I'm just going to go over what this does. So this var web3 equals require web3. Well, you just install this package. So now you're going to import it. You actually don't need this line. That's if you have Parity already running or Geth or something. And this, okay, so Infera. What's Infera? Well, Infera is in a one-liner, a AWS service for Ethereum blockchain nodes. So go to infera.io, go to get started. I guess you fill whatever test user. I use test user 2 at protonmail.com. Sign me up, sure, why not? Submit. Okay, come on. Okay, cool. So now this is a new API key. The year is 2018, the month is January. They're still free. I don't know for how long. Maximize this. It makes like setting up development stuff way easier. So just use Infera. It's like having your own Parity, but you don't. You just use theirs. Okay. So with that, why don't we just go over here? We straight up say node, the REPL, that's a read, evaluate, print loop. This is just this little like terminal prompt right here. So I'm just gonna paste all this in, and this is my API key that I generated like yesterday. What this line does, this is the new constructor in Web3 1.0.0. This basically says, okay, if given provider exists, use that, and we don't have anything running right now on localhost, so it's going to be null. Otherwise, Infera. So you just put in Infera as well, which is this string. Note that WS, that stands for WebSocket, which is the way to do in this version. Okay, so this is your seed phrase. If you don't know what this is, it's similar to your UTC JSON file. So, cool. So now this account I can't use because everyone knows my private key now, but it exists, and once you have Node.js already installed, it's just a matter of like straight up just like copying this, be like bam. It's like I just got a new account. It's way, I'd say, faster, and you can actually do a lot of cool stuff with this. Like if we're doing something silly like, I don't know, like script.js, save this in. Where are we gonna save? Okay, actually we have to do new file. Oh my god. Okay, now some demos. Okay, cool. So basically the same thing. Let's put that there. Just showing you guys something cool. All right, so if you want to create like, let's say you want to create something that you want to like trick your friends. You want to like send him like 2 cents for every second, and this is the future, and for whatever wallet app pings him on his phone, gives him a notification every time he receives some ether. So okay, so let's just create a basic loop, nothing fancy. Yeah, let's just put 100. Show r.push. I got choose string. Let's see. My phrase. Cool. And then do r.map. Phrase. All right, so if you guys are like, okay, what's going on here? Well, This is a script that's going to make 100 accounts super fast, and just you can chain this. If you come from like a programming background, you can chain this into doing different actions. So phrase is this though, some secret phrase plus 1, 2, plus 3, whatever. And map will return a array of those accounts. Basically these objects right here. So let's just run this. I'll show you guys. Taking this. Okay. So now, so this thing doesn't like new lines, or else it's going to like try to evaluate them. So let's just keep it condensed. Cool. So that's 100. Make sure that actually worked. Okay. Yeah. So this is the array that we're about to have it get called by Web3 accounts create. It's going to call it create on each one of these little array items. So just copy this one line right here. Cool. So now you have 100, and you can make this as big of a number as your computer memory can handle. You have all of these accounts, all of these private keys, and the best part is you can use them all on Etherscan if you wanted to. So I think that's the extent I'm going to show this. This is, I guess, one of the cooler ways to do it. The last one, okay. Last one, number 3, this is using Parity. So Parity is a full Ethereum node. It's written in JavaScript. You probably know what it is already. Let's just run it. Let's see what my version is. Okay, right now I'm on 1.8.2. So this is past the wallet fiasco. Run it with Parity. So I say safest because if you're working, at a computer that's not yours, or if you're, if you're doing this remotely, if you want to like create accounts remotely to be used in like some infrastructure, say if you want to create like a server-side setup where you're managing like hundreds of millions of dollars for your company or for whoever you're working for. And then, I mean, it's your responsibilities to keep those funds safe, right? So from an engineering perspective, you want to minimize the risk threshold, and you wouldn't just create a single account, you would create a multi-signature wallet, but you would create accounts to do functionality on the server. And you don't want the private keys to be logged anywhere like they were before. And instead, you saw them show up on the terminal. Someone can just like scroll up and see the terminal history, right? So you want to have it safely locked away with the password file. But this also like applies to non-developer users too. Like Parity is a pretty good GUI for the most part. Just don't use their multi-sig wallets. Use the Gnosis one. So, okay, not much explanation. I can show you guys how to install this in a different tutorial. This is where by default it runs, localhost 8545, hit accounts tab, plus account, new account. You also import them here, right? So same thing, Parity account. Tutorial, password hint, something you do during the day, password is skydiving, and you can pick a picture. Okay, I like this dude the best. Next, okay, address. Right. And remember, this is the recovery phrase. This is the exact same thing as what this would potentially have been. And they make you No, they don't. They say I have written down the phrase. Yeah, this is actually good practice. I'm gonna actually show this in the video, but writing down my phrase. You would not write down your phrase when you're in a video where you're about to show other people. You would write this down and not show anyone. Hit done. Okay. See, this is why they make sure you follow through. Does that even work? Type your. Are you serious? Okay. Clumsily, is that even a word? Okay, where is it? Where to go? Parity account tutorial. Okay, there you have it. See, the private key has not ever been exposed. You can send money. You would have to unlock it. If I put Ether on this, which I'm not because of this, if you want to send money outgoing, Parity Unlocks prompts you for an unlock. You type in the password, and that password is the decipher. I'm just talking cryptography. So decipher used to decrypt your to decrypt like the hashed up data that represents your private key. So in the event that someone compromises the server, or in the event that you leave your computer unlocked and someone goes into your file system, you can set it up so that they won't have the information they need to actually use this account, right? Because because the private key does not get saved in the file system. I'll just should I just draw it out here quick? Okay, so the way that works is because, okay, so in Parity, it tells you to give the password, so you give it skydiving, right? So that's the password that it doesn't save this password in the database either, and same thing for Geth. That this is common practice. So then you also give it your account phrase. This gets generated. Makes sure you have it outside of Parity. Okay. So this is also not saved in Parity. And then you have your hashed private key. So let's just say your private key is A, B, C, D, E. I forgot, it's probably 64 characters long, right? If this is your private key and this is your password, what happens when you hit enter is it will call encrypt password with this but it's not. This is generated in memory using an algorithm that bases takes this set of words and use that as a way to scramble it up in very many times, and with that in memory, it will know what the private key is. It's going to encrypt the private key with the password, and then once that's successful, it's going to save the result of the encryption inside the database. So the way now you would use this account without ever needing the private key is, remember when you're like, okay, I'm just gonna do this quick. Cool, I'm going to transfer. I probably don't want to do that. Okay. Yeah, so if I want to just transfer this, right? So now I get this prompt to unlock the account with my password. And I just denied that, but so the password isn't saved in that step either, but it's used to decrypt. It's used to decrypt the result of the encryption. I mean, that sounds wordy. It's used to decrypt like this giant jumble of characters that, like, if someone steals your computer and like looks at that jumble of data, they would still have no idea. They could not, from that data, ever calculate what your private key is. But since you know the password because you remembered it, let priv key equals decrypt. Say, yeah, decrypt this result with password. Right? Decrypt using password the result. And then from that private key, so now you have the account unlocked because you provided the private key. Okay, so I kind of went over with that explanation. I hope that was helpful. But I covered, in conclusion, I covered 3 of the most common ways to create an account. You're always going to be creating accounts for whatever job you do. I listed the trade-offs for each of the 3. Starting from the most recent Parity, I went over the logic of why this is the safest, using encryption methods and not saving the private key anywhere. Number 2, programmatically, the most useful, you want something quick and dirty, a script or anything, this is the way to do it. If you are like just too lazy / you're making a throwaway, you don't even care, or if you're like on your, someone else's computer and they don't have any of this stuff installed, well, you would use my Ether wallet. So that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Well, I'll be back with another tutorial shortly. Thanks.